Crew, if you're new, my name's Cassandra. We are outside today and we are going to do the first garden tour of the season. I have a rainstorm starting to blow in. It's supposed to start probably 10-15 minutes. But this was the only time I had in the next couple of days because we've had nothing but rain and I wanted to get this video filmed and out. So we're gonna go through things really quickly. We're gonna start in this first raised bed behind me. This is new growing space for me this year, along with this raised bed, and we have 2 arch trellises here. Up along this raised bed, we have a mixture of a trilogy bean and snap peas, and also some sweet pea flowers that I planted on the ends. That'll all grow up and be really beautiful here. We have 1 row of carrots in here. We did a row of russet potatoes in here. We planted the rest of the potatoes in the orchard, but we didn't have enough room, so we put the rest of them here. And then I have 2 different variety of spinach here. This is the first time I've ever grown it. I'm very excited about it. We've been eating off of this for the last week or so. You can see what here I have more to harvest, but it's been amazing and we're loving having these, and I will definitely plant more of this in the fall. Heading into the second raised bed, you can see all of these snap peas are really starting to come along here really beautifully. This bed needs to be weeded a lot more than our previous bed that we looked at, but the rest of this bed is more snap peas, and then the rest of this bed is all different carrots and rutabagas. We actually planted this bed out together. I'll link this video down below, but in the next couple of days here in between some of the rain, I want to get out here and pull all of these weeds. Now that my carrots and everything are coming up, it'll be much easier for me to come in and actually do some weeding and some thinning of carrots as well. Now headed over into this garden space, we have expanded this garden space every single year since we have planted it. It's always been hard knowing how many starts I need to purchase or start myself to be able to fill the space, because every year it has expanded. We are gonna have some bare spots, but we will always fill them. We always end up filling them. So let's go ahead and hop in here and I'll show you guys what I'm doing in here and the kind of plans moving forward. I can hear the thunder, can you? In this first row here, we have all of my snacking tomatoes or cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes. And something new I'm doing this year is I'm planting marigolds on the ends and in the middle of all of my tomato rows. Funny enough, I actually just out of coincidence, I ran into my dad at the Starts greenhouse and he's doing the same thing this year. So he had some marigolds and he told me he was doing that. I'm like, oh, me too, great minds. So they were looking a little sad. Some of the flowers are falling off. We've had a lot of wind, but I got different kinds of marigolds, yellow, orange, red, kind of whatever my greenhouse had, and we just kind of scattered them throughout. We also laid straw down this year in our walking paths. In years previously, we put them around our plants. We decided this year to use it more as ground cover, so we won't have to weed as much. But we've got a couple different variety of tomato. In here we have some of our moonbeams that we really like that we planted together, or we started together. I also got some early girls from my local greenhouse here. I got 4 of those just to have tomatoes as early as possible. And this kind of just goes all the way down here, more marigolds there. Then toward the end here, I have some Wisconsin 55s that we also started together and some Homestead tomatoes that we started together on this end, of course, accompanied with another marigold there on the end just to kind of fill out this whole first row. We have a second row of tomatoes. You can see more marigolds here. They're looking sad, but I think with this rain coming, everything's gonna perk back up. It's supposed to be a really good storm, thunder, lightning, all the things. This whole row is nothing but Amish paste tomatoes and Roma tomatoes, more marigolds on the end here. Then coming to the very end of this row is where we have all of our sweet peppers. On the other end of the garden, we have our hot peppers. It's important that you either plant your sweet peppers and your hot peppers far enough apart where they're not cross-pollinating, or that you plant them about 50 feet away from each other. That way they can't cross-pollinate and you won't get spicy sweet peppers or sweet spicy peppers. It's happened to me in the past. It doesn't bother me too much, but I have some things I specifically want my hot peppers for this year, so I don't want them getting cross-pollinated. But these are a variety. We have red, yellow, and green peppers here, and hopefully we'll get a big mix of that for the season. Now we're heading into another row here. We have lots of celery here. We have 8 kind of stalks of celery. We have more celery in another part of the garden, but the rest of this row are the cauliflower that we planted, or we started together. These are looking great. I also got a couple from my local greenhouse because when I planted them, they weren't looking so great, but now they're looking really good. So I think total we have 12 to 16 cauliflower that ended up taking. A big portion of this row is empty. This is where I put those cabbage starts that we started together, and they just didn't take. Say that, but who knows, coming in the middle of the season or a couple weeks from now, we might see some cabbages start to pop up, but otherwise I'm gonna fill that space. I will find something to put there, I always do. I might end up running back down to my local Amish shop, grabbing some cabbage starts from them and putting them in the ground. Now, heading into this row, we have another section here that's just open. Some of my broccolis didn't take that we started, which is okay. The rest of them look absolutely fantastic, which the rest of this row is all broccoli. Broccoli is really great because once you cut the head off, you'll get these side shoots. So don't cut your plants down. Just make sure that when you're harvesting your broccoli, you cut it down at an angle, and you'll continue to get side shoots all throughout the season. Unlike our cauliflower that's in this row, once they produce a head, you can pull them up and you can plant something else in their place, which is why I wanted my cauliflower in a separate row. That way, once all my cauliflower was done, I could re-till this row and get something else planted in that one section. But this is all broccoli. This will stay all season, and to have all of these broccolis take all the way until the end here and just have a couple of them die off, I'm really happy for. It doesn't always work out like that, so I'm happy I have a little bit of space here. I can add more cabbages here or more broccolis here. This is another row where we have some broccoli, so these ones ended up taking, which is great. These are the ones that I ended up getting from my local Amish shop. So we've got more broccoli here. We go through so much of that. We needed a ton. The rest of this row are all shallots. Husband came with me to the Amish shop, and they had their shallots and their onions right next to each other. They look very similar. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless you read the tag, and he thought he grabbed 2 stacks of onion bulbs, like onion starts, and he grabbed 1 onion and 1 shallot. So I ended up putting the shallots here in the garden, and the onions are over in the permaculture orchard. I wanted to be able to walk you guys through the orchard today too, to show you guys what we have planted over there, but I don't think the weather is going to allow me. So in the next couple of days, when I have more time and no rain, we'll go out into the permaculture orchard and I'll walk you guys through there and show you guys exactly what we have planted over there. Now, heading into another row, we have more marigolds here on the end, and this row is another row of just paste tomatoes, more Romas, more Amish paste tomatoes, and more marigolds. We are going to be trellising our tomatoes this year on cattle panels. We just have to get the cattle panels up. We already have them. They're leaning up against fencing here, but like I said, we've been working against rain and a lot of other things. But now that everything is actually planted in the ground, we can get these cattle panels up. Heading into this row here, we have more celery starts. We were planting the celery. My husband was shocked that I only got 8 starts of celery, so I went back and got 8 more. He was right, we needed more. Celery was one thing last year that I did not grow at all. It just completely was not in my mind space. I don't know how I forgot it. So we didn't have any last year, just off of what we had excess from 2022's garden. So I used it very sparingly this winter, and we missed it a lot. So I wanted to make sure we had plenty. My second daughter picked some of these, I don't remember what they were, but she picked these for the garden, so we planted these here. And then we have 3, no, we have 4, 1, 2, 3, maybe we only do have 3. We have 3 zucchinis here. That's all that took from what we started, which is fine. I think we started 4, so 3 is good. That'll be plenty for us. We use these to thicken up our tomato sauces, our pizza sauces, and then of course just for zucchini breads and baking and all sorts of things. Also have 3 eggplant that we started together, so those took as well. I think we started 4, we ended up getting 3, so very similar to our zucchini. So those are planted here. We're excited to kind of give those a try. Another one of those flowers that my daughter picked, like I said, it's looking sad, but the rain will definitely help. The rest of this are 2 different types of romaine lettuce. I got these starts from the Amish shop. Mine did not do well at all this year in my starts, which is okay. That happens. But that's why I'm grateful to have the Amish shop to fill in those gaps that I didn't do for myself. So we have a purple variety here, I like to do that because they don't bolt as easy as some of these heads of lettuce that grow. So we kind of have a variety. My son was helping me plant these, and just by happenstance we kind of did every other. So we have a purple variety, a crisp head, more romaine, another crisp head, romaine, and kind of so forth. It goes all the way down into another row. We ended up having another marigold here, but my chickens got in here the other day, and now I'm realizing that I think that's why all of my marigolds have no flowers on them. But we're heading in here. This whole row is pickles, so like cucumbers. These are slicing cucumbers, and then we get further down here where these are all just eating cucumbers. This big open area here are all onions. We have two different variety here. So this open space that looks blank, there are onions in here, and then I ended up putting my pickling cucumbers because I wanted them separate. I didn't want the kids getting them mixed up. Then we have more onions here. You can see them starting to kind of poke up here, which is always fun to see. So this whole big area is another variety of onion, and then these are all of the winter squash. It's starting to rain on me, but we're gonna push through. We have a couple different varieties of squash here. We have a butternut, oh my gosh, I don't even know, but we have a couple different things of squash here, a couple different varieties. And then we have pumpkins, the little sugar pie pumpkins all the way on the end here, just for the kids for Halloween and things like that. Originally, these squash were gonna go in the orchard for ground cover underneath the trees, but we just had to get them in the ground. So I put them in here. They were starting to look a little sad. I was waiting for my husband to till up some areas in the orchard for me to plant these, and I just thought, you know what, they're just gonna have a home in the garden this year, which is fine. This next row behind me here are my kids' favorite, and that is all the watermelons. We have 8 sugar baby watermelons in here. We started those seeds together as well, and then all the way on the end here we have a couple muskmelon and a couple cantaloupe. Those are something that the kids saw at the Amish shop, and they really wanted to try those. I love encouraging the kids to try new things and plant new things. We like to do at least a couple new things every year just to try some things out. Last year we did Brussels sprouts. Turns out nobody except me is a fan of the Brussels sprouts, so we're not growing Brussels sprouts this year. I still have a gallon left from last year. And then in this last row, all the way back here, are my hot peppers. These first 4 are cayenne peppers. I did get these from the nursery because mine just did not look that great. So I got 4 cayenne peppers. These are for sweet and spicy pickles, salsas. We'll find different ways to use these. And then these last 4 are the mammoth jalapenos that we started together, and these look fantastic. So we started these ones together and they look really great. So you can see these are where our spicy peppers are, and our sweet peppers are in our second row all the way over there. You can see I have a little friend in here. My son came out to join me. He left the gate open, so as soon as it starts downpouring, I promise she'll be running into the coop. Whole row here. I had to stop randomly because I got a phone call, but this whole big row in here, a lot of this are regular green beans. We planted this out together a couple videos ago. I did probably about a 6-foot section of a trilogy green bean, which has a purple green bean, a wax bean, and a regular green bean. I got those seeds from Johnny's Seeds. I'm excited to try those out with the kids. I think they're gonna be really fun. However, the rest of this row I planted out in regular green bean seeds that I got. I have left over from last year. We love green beans. We need them for jelly beans and all sorts of things. So the rest of this row, all the way up to here, are green beans. And this little section here is empty. And I'm gonna come and fill that. I'm thinking about maybe putting a little row of snap peas in just to have something to snack on while we're in the garden, because we really like that. But in the next couple days, I think I'm gonna run back down to my Amish shop and just pick up a couple things to fill in these empty areas here in the garden and get something in the ground to cover that. Otherwise, in the end, I'm gonna end up working harder to keep that space weed free and empty. So I might as well cover it with something. But we just kind of used all of the straw because we cleaned out the chicken coop, and we took out all of our old empty straw bales that we haven't used throughout the winter and threw them in the garden here. But that really is the full garden tour for 2024, at least the starting point. Not a whole lot to look at today, but definitely enough. Lots and lots of tomatoes, lots of things happening. The trellising still has to go up, but everything's in the ground, which is a really great place to be. We expanded the garden this year, plus we have those 2 raised beds, so lots more growing room, not to mention what's happening over in the orchard. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you guys are having a fantastic one. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.